What's up everybody? Today we are going to go ahead and install some ARP studs for the rears. So these are the ARP studs. I did get 3 sets for the rears right here, and then I just need one for the front since I stripped it on the last video. So what I got to do is just get the car up on jacks on this side, that way I can take the wheel off and get started. I think the hardest part about this whole process is taking the springs off and then putting the springs back on when you're all done, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment.
Everybody want to school. Wish bitches let me breathe. Only 5 foot, but I'm all savage like a bitch out on the airline. Yellow fuck spirit, hold them hoes here. Gonna let you have it like it ain't mine. I don't pick up like the landline. When they bring me up, you better act mine. I'm pulling up in the Panamera with a pink slip, so you know it's mine. My daddy ain't by, he left me in private and tried to come back when he seen I was shining. But fuck him, I'm grinding. These hoes on the charts in this climate. Just wait till a bitch going down.
Alright guys, little update. So I'm finished with the passenger side for the extended studs. Those are already on there. It wasn't actually that hard. It was actually pretty easy. The hardest part was putting all the springs back together, figuring out which ones to put on first because everything is all held by those springs. So that was like the hardest part, but once you do it, like literally it's cake after that. So now I'm going to do the driver's side, and like I said, since I already did the passenger side, it's a whole lot easier, so I'm going to get this done very quick. But I'll show you guys exactly how to do it, just in case if you're doing this for your Evo, you have like a tutorial. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to start with these springs right here. You want to take these 2 off. After you take these 2 off, this little tab right here comes off. If you notice, there's a marking that shows green. Facing me, it's on the left hand side. You don't want to put it on exactly how it shows, or exactly how you take it off. You want to put that on exactly how it is, so don't forget. Alright, so after you get these 3 pieces off, there's actually a piece that you can't really see, but it's in there, and that just slides right off. It's pretty self-explanatory when you take it off, and I'll show you that in a minute. However, if you look over here, there's another spring that you just take off, and then another, and then you take the other one over here off. And then if you look on the bottom, there is a piece right here that comes off, and then another spring. Alright, so once you get everything off, it's literally going to look like this. So you have all the springs. So the blue for my car means left, I mean that goes on the left side. The yellow means it goes on the right side. And those are those little spring loaded, whatever it's called, that were right here that I took off. Next thing to do is to hammer these studs out, and then after I hammer the studs out, if you look right here, there's bolts 1, 2, 3, and then 1 below, which are on the back that you take off so you can take this bad girl out. Alright, so after some PV blast, I got all the bolts off that were behind, so it's 4. So the next thing to do is to take off the hub and put the extended studs from the back. Alright, so normally you're supposed to take it off, however we just pull it back a little bit and then just fit these studs through the back. We just pull it back, took it down, or pulled it back, put the studs in, and now we're gonna use these washers right here to tighten them up. Alright, and before I touch the studs, I got to tighten up these bolts in the back, and then we'll go to the studs. Alright, so I tightened up the bolts, the 4 bolts in the back, so now I'm gonna put all the washers on. Alright, so you put all these washers here. I'm just using a lug from like when I first got the car, and all you do is you literally just tighten it until the back part sits flush, and you want to make sure you get this nice and straight because then you won't be able to put back your rotor back on. Alright, so here's the end product. We got these studs all in, lined up straight. The way you do it is literally how I took everything off. You do it in the exact opposite. Alright guys, this is day 2. My camera died last night, so I really couldn't show you guys what we were doing towards the end. But so everything's on. The studs came in nice and straight. The rotor fit perfectly. I got my Brimbos back on. So we're pretty much all done. One thing that I did notice is that I am gonna have to run some spacers for the rears. I think about 5 to 10 millimeters, because when I had the quarter panel lined up when I was holding it, the wheel just sits a little on the inside, but no biggie. That's why we have the extended studs, so we can run spacers on there. So next week I want to go ahead and start cutting the rears. That way you can get the rear mounted and actually start driving this car. Also, the front's pretty much done. It's 99% done. The only thing I have to do is just bolt the front bumper to the fender, because we cut a tab off where it was holding together by a bolt. So pretty much what I need to do is just drill a hole from the bottom right here, drill it to the top, and just have a bolt hold this in place, because right now it's just very loose. But that's literally the only thing I got to do this side and that side. And after I do that, I'm going to just start taking all this tape off, give this car a nice wash, give the kit a nice wash, and then bolt it to the front half of the car, so that way I'm going to have the front fenders on and the side skirt, and then we'll just be working on the rears. But man, it's going to look so badass, I can't wait. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.